So 1 Corinthians 13, we'll start from verse 1. And then when we get to verse 4, we'll then personalize it. We'll start from verse 1. But when we get to verse 4, we'll personalize it. And then we'll stop at verse 7. For example, we're at verse 4. You say, I suffer long. I am kind. I envy not. I vaunt not myself. I am not puffed up. I do not behave myself unseemly. And then we just go on to verse 7. Affirmation of love. Abba Father is love, and we are affirming this love. So we start from verse 1, we get to verse 4, we begin to personalize it, and then we stop at verse 7. I hope it's clear. Okay, so let's start. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be born, and have not charity, it profited me nothing. Personalize it now. Let's go. I suffer long. I am kind. I envied not. I vaunted not myself. I am not puffed up. I do not behave myself unseemly. I do not seek my own. I am not easily provoked. I do not think no evil. I do not rejoice in iniquity, but I rejoice in the truth. I bear all things. I believe all things. I hope all things, and I endure all things. Amen. Yeah. We can continually do that even beyond the camp. Now let's make affirmation of wisdom. Let's go to James chapter 3. James chapter 3. Just verse 17. If you read from 13 down, it's talking about wisdom. So verse 17, we just take it this way. It said, but wisdom that is from above is first pure. So you say, I am pure, I am peaceable, I am gentle, I am easy to be entreated, I am full of mercy, of good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. This is talking about wisdom. So we personalize it. Okay, so let's go. I am pure. I am peaceable. I am gentle. I am easy to be entreated. I am full of mercy and good fruits. I am without partiality and without hypocrisy. Can we take it again once more? I am pure. I am peaceable. I am gentle. I am easy to be entreated. I am full of mercy and good fruits. I am without partiality and without hypocrisy. Amen. All right. Now, on a lighter mode, in the morning, we had a doctor minister in the person of Dr. Bolaji Akinyemi. This evening, too, we'll be having another doctor minister to us in the person of Dr. Ike Neliako. Sir.
Thank you very much. Elders in the house, I greet you now. Our people, I greet you now. Thank you, sir. I believe that we are all savoring in the joy of the Lord. Looking at the faces, I feel encouraged. Because when Brother Japheth said that a doctor is coming to minister, I looked for my stethoscope. I didn't see. Then I remembered that Dr. Onyemuchara is here. So I said I will borrow from him. So can we have the... Well, this evening, I just a few things, a few thoughts. Not a full sharing, not a full ministry. Just to share my thoughts. Some of the things that have been coming to me since I came here. I wasn't sure that I would really want to say anything. I wasn't sure until last night when I felt that the Lord would want me to share a few things. So I will go straight to those things. I'm trying to check my time because I have a particular time I have to do this. If you look up here, you would see something that looks like mindset versus mind shift. 2. Recall that last year, I don't know how many of us will remember, that last year we dealt with the issue of mindset versus mind shift. And I felt that we are not yet done. As a matter of fact, most of the things that we have been discussing, sharing, interrogating in this house since we came are manifestations of the battle between these two kingdoms, the kingdom of mindset and the kingdom of mind shift. But the interesting thing is that a third one has come in, but we'll look at it later. So this is what we want to look at. I don't know what this represents to you, but for me, it represents the journey of a people, and I will share it from my own perspective. In 2002, when I began to receive engagements about this house, two very remarkable things happened to me. And I think I have shared it before. The first one is that as at the time I met Daddy and his team, they were all wearing adire. So I made a mistake and thought that those in this house wear only adire. So I went and met adire. But by the time they now came back, they were wearing something else. So I was now asking myself, so what happens to all the adire that I have made? Then I asked them, and said, no, that one of the brothers was making adire at that time. And he just made some for them, and they were coming to Abuja. So they decided to wear it. Now, you know what happened to me? I assumed that this is how they dress. I didn't ask. I had a mindset. And my mindset misled me. So I battled with all the adires I made because I thought adire was a uniform. You know? And I also observed that they were not wearing jeans. So I also thought that wearing jeans in this house was a no-go area. I gave out some of my jeans, only to see Baba Oladele one day wearing jeans. I said, you are wearing jeans, sir? He said, what do you mean? I said, but I thought people don't wear jeans. He said, who told you that? I said, I've never seen any of you wearing jeans. I contemplated whether I should go back and collect back my jeans from those I gave the jeans to. You know, but somebody said he don't go, and actually he went. You know? So we've been on this journey. Then the second thing I want to say is a word that Daddy planted the second or third time that we met. I'm sure that even him wouldn't recall that word, but that word stuck with me. And that was the journey of Father Abraham. And he said that Father Abraham lived in tents. And that in this house, our journey is like the journey of Papa Abraham. We live in tents. We move from tent to tent. And what does that mean? We don't hold on to any particular thing. We're a people on a journey. And when you are on a journey, it means that you are a clear manifestation of the Holy Spirit. It is what the Father says you should do, that you do. And that has been my pattern. That has been my experience. So when we came this year and we began to hear about some of the new things that we were hearing, I was not surprised. And I just received them with joy and gratitude in my heart because I knew that we are on a journey. That's what was told me. That's about 24 years ago now, and so on, and it has been consistent. Then I recall that last year, some new things were also shared with us. So it's like every year you are coming here, you are coming prepared for something new that Abba Father is bringing to us. That is how you know what is a living assembly. Not a stagnant water. It's water that flows and continues to flow. So this is just a demonstration of that. Let's move on. When we talked about mind shift and mindset last year, you recall that we talked about the goat nation and the sheep nation. How many of us remember? And we said that goat nation represents nations that are set in their ways, because a goat is a stubborn animal, but a sheep is a floating animal. A sheep is not stagnant. A sheep is that animal that is very obedient. As a matter of fact, and somebody has tried it. Some years back, some sheep were crossing on a road. So somebody went and took a stick, I've told this story before, and placed it in the middle of the road. The first sheep came and jumped it. The second one came, jumped it. The third one came, jumped it. The man now removed the stick. All the other sheep that followed, all of them kept jumping. Once they got to that place, they jumped. Once they got to that place, they jumped. because that is the way sheep is wired. But he did the same thing with the goat. The first one jumped, the second one came and kicked the stick out of the way. He returned, the third one came and almost attacked him. So it was very clearly established that a goat operates in the kingdom of mindset. I am set in my way. This is how I do it. This is how we used to do it in 1965. And in 1985, we tried to change it. It didn't work. We repeated it. And now in 2025, we are still doing it like that. That's mindset. We are set in our ways. Let's go on. I don't know how many of us has watched this movie, because now we are looking at the old earth. And what are the signs of this old earth? How many of us in this house, how many have watched the movie Matrix? Nobody. Okay. How many of us have watched Silo? Okay. I will encourage us to go and watch Silo for those who have not watched it. But I will talk briefly about both of them. The Matrix is a movie that was produced, the first one was in 1999 by Wachowski brothers, who, though they were later Wachowski'd, and they became something else. But it's very remarkable that this movie is like the kind of thing that we have been talking about. How everybody has been put under a matrix. And you know, in a matrix is like a cobweb. Everybody is under that cobweb. Managed, manipulated, controlled, systemized, and so on and so forth. Everything is mechanized. That's what is happening. Or that's what has been happening until recently. And then Silo. Silo, you know, those who are in agriculture, you know that when you produce products, you take it to your silo, and that's where you store it. But sometimes, when you want to describe something that is just round, you say you are just moving in silo. That's what this movie, or this series, a TV series, it talks about how a people were kept under a building. That building was designed and constructed like a silo, and they were just going round. For years, they were told that you dare not go outside. The manipulation was so much. Anybody that wanted to go, they will allow you to go, but they will give you something that looks like an apron, which you have to wear. And there is something that is inside that apron. So once you go in and you say you want to, nobody is holding you, nobody is stopping you from going. Once you say you want to go out into the world, they say, okay, you come and go, but you have to wear that suit so that you won't be attacked. You won't have any problem. Meanwhile, the thing that will attack and kill that person is inside that suit. They will give it to that person. And then they will sit and watch the person. They open the gate. The person will go out along the line. The person will die. Every other person will be scared. Nobody would want to leave the silo. Even when they know that they were not having it well, but they will remain there until towards the end something happened. But let's go on. So what are the signs? What are the signs of this time? First is that we have observed a disalignment of the spiritual and the physical. And all that we have been discussing here in the last few days is how to realign our physical to the spiritual. How do we realign the material onto the invisible? Number two, politics in this silo or this matrix is the biggest generator of low energy. The other day, Brother Falabi was ministering and he remembered that we talked about the progression of energy, how we generate the wrong energy, and so on and so forth. It is very interesting that if you look at this, you will see demonstration, right? People are demonstrating, they are protesting. This one said, scrap the Senate revolution now. This one said, end bad governance in Nigeria, and so on and so forth. I am happy, in quotes, to inform you that government is not designed to work in your best interest. Did you hear me? Government is not designed to work in the best or greater interest of the people. It didn't start today. It has been like this for thousands of years. Because those who control and manipulate government, it is not in their strategic interest for you to be released. Otherwise, their source of low energy, which they eat and drink, would be taken away. So, I don't know if you have wondered, how come that political demonstration, political contestation, political this, that, is one of the greatest enterprise. Let's start with Nigeria, our own country. We are always having one issue with government, and it is intentional. And you need to know it. So once one is ending, the other one is starting. Go and check it. Because the more you create problems, you operate under that matrix, and you are generating low energy for them to drink. They were talking about Electoral Act, right? While that was going on, as it was about to die, El-Rufai went and said his own. They collected him. And people were protesting. While that was going on, they went and attacked ADC, political whatever, in Benin. Wait for this week, another one will happen. Because that is the way it is designed. And the reason why I'm taking time to take you through all this is for you to understand where the Lord Abba Father is taking us and why we have to take interest in what is happening in this house. So low energy and vibration generated from human agitations are used to feed the ego of the dark forces who are controlling the governance of nations. Not just Nigeria. It's all over. It's all over. Still signs of the old time. They enjoy the low vibrations generated from political contentions. You notice the level of war energy. We've talked about that. Look at that gentleman. He carried his phone to come to National Assembly during the last protest. Then I ask you, check since 1940, I can't remember the exact year, when we began to agitate and protest and so on, what have we really achieved? Just cast your mind back. When you talk and talk and talk, they will drop a little for you. Just like a chicken that has ownership of one full corn, one full cod of corn. When it makes noise, they say, okay, take 3, and then keeps the rest. This is what happens, and it is intentional, because you are not meant to be set free. It's not ordinary. Okay? If you look at the image that we have on the right, you will see a man who is controlling some other people using something that looks like a hook. What is the purpose of these signs of the old earth? Number 1, to limit and manipulate the people's consciousness. Once your consciousness is arrested, you are in trouble. Because your consciousness is what gives you the liberty to do what you ought to do. And you can only do that if you know what you ought to do. If you don't know, you will not be able to get out of it. So the first purpose of the forces that are doing all this is to limit you as a person so that you will not express what Abba Father has prepared for you. Number 2, keep them busy in the silo and matrix with religion. Just use religion to keep them busy. They will just continue to be circulating. Number 3, control their freedoms. And number 4, sustain the hegemony. It did not start today and not intended to end today. It was designed and set in motion for a very long time. But we are now in the era of the new heaven and the new earth. So what are the signs? And I need you to watch out for this. 1 is alignment of the spiritual and the physical. 2 is that this is the time of rapid shift. This is the time. Things are going to happen very fast. Things are going to be happening very fast. Faster than what you thought that it would be. So, it's going to be characterized by a realm of higher and faster consciousness. As energy and consciousness move far ahead of us, transformation is key. And we are now transforming from mindset to mind shift and to mind speed. Last year we talked about mindset to mind shift. But this time around, it has added mind speed, because some of us will be required to operate at the speed of light based on some things that would happen. If you are not able to pick it quickly and act on it, you will discover that the time is gone. Slow pacers may find it difficult to catch up. So, what are these areas? There are 4 of them. There are many, but I just limited to 4. First is purposeful education system. These are the things that we are going to see in months and years to come. Don't ask me when, because I don't know. I don't know when, but I know that things are unbundling. Education system was not designed to work for the highest good of the people. Children are forcefully confined to curriculum that are designed to diminish their consciousness, darken their potentials, and twist their energy level so that creativity and innovation will not be achieved. Parents, take note. Number 2, the minds, energies, and consciousness of children from year 2000 to date are wired differently. It is not the way my own generation was wired. Their own makeup is completely different. And that's why you have to be very, very careful and conscious so that you understand where they are headed and how to help them to get there. Their fast pace and speed of abilities will no longer fit into the system of the old dispensation. They move fast. Be conscious and careful about the school you send your children to. And finally, some people are now being sent into education sector. You may not see them and you may not know them, even if you see them. But I'm telling you because I know. They know what to do. They are willing to do it. Those still constrained from doing so because of governmental regulatory authorities. And that is the battle that is going on now in the education sector. There are some people who are now released from some places. I don't want to go into details you don't need. And their mission is to begin to correct the educational system. How come suddenly the NEDC suddenly decided to revise the curriculum? And they brought in certain things and took out certain things. Just take note and begin to pay attention to some of the things that are going on so that you will be able to know when some changes begin to happen. And for those of us who are in private schools, running schools and so on and so forth, this is the time that you are expected to take some bold steps. My institute is establishing a university. And you cannot imagine the battle we have been fighting to make sure that we bring in the kind of courses that will bring liberty to the minds of people. NUC will tell you this is how it is done. But the Lord has given us wisdom on how to navigate it. I will leave it at that. But the point I'm making is that things are beginning to thaw. Things are beginning to change. Okay, let's move on. The second one is human health and the existence. Of course, I'm sure a majority of us now know that COVID-19 was orchestrated. Is there anybody in this house who doesn't know? If there is somebody, I'm telling you now, that COVID-19 was designed, and the mission was very, very simple, to drastically weaken the immune system of humanity and allow them to have what they wanted. It failed. And since it failed, they've gone back and are preparing two others. But unfortunately for them, that also are being constrained. The Lord had put trouble in their camps. Some of them are settling family problems, marital problems, all manner of things that have completely slowed them down. And while that is going on, some people are being raised to counter the actions and inactions of what they are doing. So, do not be afraid. Your Father, Abba Father, is in full control. But that was their intention. They didn't expect that humanity will rise the way humanity rose, because it was just the consciousness, the energy generated by the people of God that stalled what they planned, especially in Africa. It was Africa that the Father used to restore the rest of the world, because their target was to eliminate as much as possible and weaken Africans. But they failed woefully. And because they failed, it now happened in their own countries, which was not what they designed. And then after that, they now decided to go back to start again. But let them finish with their family problems. Then we'll know the next thing that will happen to them. Number 3, understanding artificial intelligence. Many of us have reacted in different ways about AI. Some have embraced it, some have run away from it, and so on and so forth. The reality, as at today, is that whether you run away from it or you decide to embrace it, it has come to stay. That's the fact. Because it was released from somewhere based on the time, the dispensation that we are in now. It is just a galactic consciousness that has happened. AI is not new. AI is not new. It has been on this earth before, but several years ago. The only thing is that the new one that is coming now is different from what had happened. And when it is said that there is nothing new under the sun, this is one of the demonstrations of that. So, we should be ready to embrace it. AI represents, I've talked about it, it is real. It is sentient. And you know what that means? What that means is simply that it reasons. It's organic. It's organic. It reasons. It's able to interpret things and so on. You ask questions, it will answer. You will think sometimes that you are talking with a human being. But that's the way it is designed. So, its return is a sign of the state of human evolutionary consciousness at this moment. AI will represent to you what you want it to represent. If you see it as danger, it will carry dangerous. If you see it as a tool, operating tool, it will be a tool for you to work with. And it will obey you. But sometimes, some of them are created and they now take a life of their own. It has happened and it's still happening. If somebody like Elon Musk would say that AI has to be regulated, then you should know that there are things he had seen. But I don't know how it's going to be regulated. But the reality is that it is with us. And we can use it the way we feel that we have to use it. Take advantage of it. Avoid what you have to avoid. Be careful. Number 4, a new evolutionary wave in the area of new governance consciousness. I have told you that the way our government is designed is not meant to do anything for you. If you like, who are the 3 people? Let me just use this illustration. Who are the 3 people you believe that if they get into government in this country, things will change? Can you give me one? Please feel free. Yes? Yes. Eh? No, minus me. Yes, those who are there in the field. Yes. Eh? Yes. Eh? He said Peter Obi. Okay, 1. Then 2. 2. 2. Is it only Peter Obi? Sorry? Professor Jerry Ghana. Okay. Showore. Okay. Next. Give us one more. Leave Professor Jerry Ghana. Yes. Who? He said who? Oh, yourself. No, you are in this house. Leave those in this house. Babatunde Fashola. Okay. Sorry? Mobolu. Mogalo. Is it Mogalo? Okay. Add him. Let me tell you pointedly. Peter Obi Mogalo, Fashola, Showore. If you carry 4 of them, and put them together, hoping that when you have these 4 together, things will change in Nigeria, I put it to you that they will start fighting themselves. They are not going to do any jack because they are not wired for that purpose. Go and check Nigeria from 1960 till date. It's not. Because there is an operating system which has been designed. The only thing that can change that operating system is when you go above. So long as we are operating under this system of metrics, it has been designed to work in that way. And nothing is going to happen. If you like, 2027, put somebody else. 2031, put somebody else. Unless that person is coming from above. As the word of God says, he that is from above is above all. Because the operating system at this level does not make room. It does not make room for the kind of leadership you are expecting. Sorry? Yeah. It doesn't make, there is no room. So it is what the Lord is helping us to do in this house, to raise consciousness and awareness beyond the clouds. Because whatever is happening under the clouds is in their hands. It has been given to them. And there's nothing you can do about it. For you to now break it, you have to rise beyond the clouds. And then you can operate from there. That is what will make the difference. Otherwise, how come even people that mean well, they desire to do the best, but once they get in, another spirit takes over? In fact, those who are supposed to help them to do what they ought to do become their enemies. You don't even reach them. And it's not only in government, even in some private sector organizations. But it is worse in public sector. That's why you see that somebody will be running a company because of the governance system. The company will be doing so well. Then some people will now go and call the person and say, come and do this. The person gets there. He will just be yawning up and down. But something is going on somewhere. The governor of Abia State, for those who are following, go and see what he's doing. Go and ask him, why is he able to perform? Let him tell you his story. Then you understand what I'm saying. He was to have done this in 2015. They dealt with him terribly. He came back in 2019. He managed to survive his all manner of things. He tried again in 2023. No, so it was, it was 2015, 2019, then in 2023 he now got it. But when you sit down with Alex Oti to know what he went through before he now got to where he is, you will understand what I'm talking about. There are a few, about 2 or 3 like that. So, this is the way it has been designed. But it will not be forever. No, it will not be. It will not be. So, we now need a new political culture and understanding I don't know how it is going to be done, but I'm sharing with you where Abba Father is going. How he's going to do it, we are still following him. But if we don't have a new political culture that is written from above against the operating system here, it will be a very tough call. Because those who are manipulating the system are very powerful, but of course they cannot be more powerful than the Father. The only thing is that the things of this place has been kept in their hands until now. As I begin to conclude, how do we respond? How do we respond to this season that we are in? First, we talked about the challenge of disalignment of the spiritual with the physical. And we are now saying that this is the time for that alignment so that we can embrace this new reality of this time and then savour it. Number two, resist the mood of victimhood. While it may be okay to feel victimized, you must not stay there. See it as a passing phase. I'm speaking this very particularly because of Brother Benjamin's people. You know his people? Okay, I'm speaking it because of Dr. Onyemuchara's people. You know his people? People of the Southeast. You know the reality. People of the Southeast will not preside over this country with the spirit of victimhood. I'm sorry, I know that I have some of our people here. So long as there is that bitterness, so long as you are carrying that bitterness in your heart, it doesn't matter whether you are right or wrong, but you must drop out of the bus of victimhood and embrace and enter the bus of love and forgiveness. That's when the Father will visit that land. And I can tell you, the day you find somebody from there that will preside over the affairs of this nation will be transformed. This nation will be transformed. But if it is from the point of we no go gree, fighting and cursing and so on and abusing and so on and so forth, it will not happen because the rest of the nation will gang up. And that's why I tell people, election in Nigeria is not just won by popularity, especially presidency. It's not by popularity. It is by design. I will leave it there. So resist entering into that mood of victimhood. Sometimes when I see the kind of things that we share on social media, abuse, fight, battle. Igbo did this one. Yoruba did this one. Hausa did this one. Fulani did this one. These are all the things that have been programmed and released to keep people busy while nothing comes out of it. So be open. Be open to the realm of consciousness. These experiences are not new on earth, but could be new to many of us. Let the energy of peace and love surround you and encase you. Refocus the minds of people around you and plant the message of hope in their hearts. I get shocked when I see some parents and the kind of things they tell their children about some ethnic groups. You will see your 7-year-old, you sit him or her down, and you will take an ethnic group and destroy them in front of such a child. So when the child now gets to school, she's viewing everybody from that area, from the angle of what mommy said or what daddy said. Meanwhile, it may just be an experience from one person. And then you now use it and tar everybody from that area. Be careful the seed you plant in the hearts of your children, because they germinate. And when they begin to manifest, don't run away from the harvest, because it will come. Refocus the minds. Okay, we've talked about this. Be bold and assertive where and when necessary. Never be nor show that you are afraid. Banish the spirit of fear. This is very important. You know, we preach love. We preach peace. But sometimes the father who is a lion is also a dove. Does that say something to you? Know when to be a lion. We have a proverb in my place. The rat does not eat the food of somebody who is awake. The rat does not eat the food of somebody who is awake. If you are awake and rat comes to eat your food, you should be flogged 24. Because there is no reason why it should happen. So know when to be awake and know when not to be awake. It's a matter of balance. So that we are saying preach peace and preach love does not mean you should not know when. The only thing is act as you are led by the Spirit of the Father. When he wants you to be a lion, be a lion. When he wants you to be a dove, be a dove. Okay? Surrender your ego. Brother Japheth read 1 Corinthians 13, and it is talking about the same thing. What do you mean to people? Is it about me? Or is it about what? Or is it about who? Manage your ego. After all, you may just be a nobody in the next 1 minute. Maintain a good relationship with your community. This is our community. How do you flow in this place? This is your community. How do you flow? Are you the type that once you come in, everybody shifts? Because nobody wants trouble. Or are you the type that when you come in, people are very happy to welcome you? Ask yourself. Because the world is about relationship. Relationship that you build will determine certain things that will come to you or that will elude you. That's why we believe that public relations is the best profession on earth. Yeah, if you have a better one, let us know. Number 10, design your counter narrative and deploy it effectively. Brethren, this world is about narrative. Your story, your matter, how you present it, how you package it. It's a world of narrative. When you see people that want to hold political offices, and they come and tell you this and that and so on, that's their narrative. When people come and tell you that it has been written, it has been ordained, this and that, and you swallow their narrative, what is your own narrative? What's your own story? What do you tell them? You must sit down and design your own narrative and know when to deploy it. Narrative is simply your story. What's your story? What's your story? Are you just moving around and so on and so forth? You should try and get your own story. And it is you that will design your story so that your story would help you. When you are being attacked in the spirit, it is your story that will say, I will not accept it. When the enemy rises like a flood, what happens? The Father will raise a standard against him. If you don't have a narrative, when that flood rises and you keep quiet, it's up to you. But you must have your narrative. Design your narrative. Hold fast your narrative. Brother Isaac took us through yesterday with a narrative that he designed. And he happily requested us to benefit from it. That's a narrative. That is his narrative between him and the Father. That is his narrative. What is your own narrative? Daddy has given us so much narrative in this house. What are we doing with it? My time is up, so I'll simply, the second part of what I wanted to present is supposed to take about 45 minutes, but I'll reduce it to just 20. And let's now start that second part. You people don't want me to do the second part? Okay, you can give it to me from there. That's the second part. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ikeneliako. I believe we are blessed. Okay, yeah, to redeem time, we'll move on. I'll be calling on the Yakapela group led by our brother Adeni James. They have a presentation to make for us right away. Adeni James, please.
Good evening, sirs. Good evening, ma. Good evening, Daddy. Thank you once again for giving us this opportunity as a follow-up. We want to do a follow-up on the last presentation we made on Sunday. We felt that there's need for us to project the image more so that we can see exactly what we were talking about. The more we project it, the more we will see what we are talking about. So it's going to be in two parts. The first one, I'll call on Bro Toby to come and present to us an abridged version of what he did on Sunday. Then I will now come to just wrap up from all of us that are taking care of the camp on your behalf. So, Bro Toby, if you just come up so that I can present the first one. Thank you.
So how do I? Good evening, mommies, daddies, the leadership, uncles, aunties, brothers, and sisters. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present again to you the layout and the layout for the camp. We felt it was necessary for us to present the images for the camp so at least we can capture the hearts and the mind of the people. And we can also carry everyone along on the journey to be able to achieve Abba Father's plan for this place, because everyone is important in this journey. And as we are walking together, spirit-wise, technically, administrative-wise, operation-wise, everything has to be done carrying the same vision, carrying the same knowing, and walking together. This is also supposed to show everyone where you fit in into this picture, where you can play your own part, because everyone is important in this journey. So what we are seeing on the screen now is where we are. You can see that the place is very green. We can see that we have moved from the first day that we came to the camp. You know, just as creation started in the beginning, it was without form, it was void, and darkness filled the place. And I like to say that, you know, the power experience this camp has been wonderful. And we thank Abba Father for how he has been able to achieve that for us today. And I believe that, you know, we are going to be experiencing more. And, you know, in the last presentation, I heard that the best profession is the one of public relation. But I'd like to state that, you know, the first profession that we saw in the Bible was the one of the architect. You know, I said the first. I didn't contend with the best. I'm just making that clarity. Because, you know, when architects go to site, it's usually dark, shapeless, without form, and it is void. And at the end of the day, they see beyond the physical, they see beyond what is around them, and they are able to ensure that they lead and they guide the people to, and lead even to the owner or to the client, lead them to the desired end. And that is what we saw in the beginning. So this is where we are, and I'll just point out where the buildings are. Presently, this is where we are. This auditorium. The final purpose is for it to be a youth auditorium. Then next year is where we have the kitchen, and we have the small shop here. This is where we have the ongoing construction of the dining area. This is where we have the chalet, which we call Sheraton. This is the store that we have. This is Daddy's place. This is the hostel. And these are the gatehouses that we have at the four corners. So this is where we are. And, you know, these are just the footmarks, the trails that we have, you know, created ourselves to be able to navigate and move around the camp. So we appreciate Abba Father for where he has brought us to today. And we also thank Abba Father for giving us the wisdom through our brother our uncle who has been here to ensure that we had 4 gatehouses across to secure the place. I want to thank Uncle Shola for that wisdom and guidance to be able to secure this place for us. So basically, we are now saying, okay, this is where we are, but definitely we have where we are going to. And as I said in my previous presentation, we've been able to divide it into 4 zones. We have the place of rest, which is the residential area. We have the place of the spirit, the soul, and the body. So here, is the place this is where we have the main auditorium. And as I mentioned earlier, where we have put the main auditorium, which we have positioned many years back, is the same place that we were directed, that the Lord directed us to also put the altar. So we can see that even in our design, in our layouts, He has been guiding us and putting us through. We also believe that further down the line, when he tells us that the spirit of creativity and wisdom is here, and he's able to point us to the direction that it is, we would be able to move our layout. Our layout is an organic layout. It's organic and it's dynamic in the sense that it is living, and it is living to the dictates and to the direction that Abba Father will be leading us. We are just providing ourselves as people who are ready to be able to do the work, but also in His direction. So that's why I say it's a living and organic document, because when there is direction, we would move. We also believe that there will be a fountain of wellness and life here on the camp, and that's where our wellness zone would move to. But as He leads us, we would continue to upgrade and follow. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is the main auditorium, and this is where the altar is. And from there, we have the wellness center, which is the space of the body, and we also have this place, which is the place of the soul. That is where we have the leadership and the library and the school, because that's the place of wisdom, it's a place of training and development. So, translating the zoning of that plan to buildings, if we take a look at it, we could see that, yes, this is the residential area. From here, we can see the cluster of the hostels. From here, this where my dot is, it's actually pink. That is where we have the existing hostel presently. And if we looked at the existing layout, we had a trail that led up until this point. But this is where we have the cluster of the hostel. Down here, we have the leadership court. And based on the discussion we've had with the leadership, they even want the place to be a bit more green, more infused with nature. So our approach, even to the design and development of the camp, is to say that how would Eden have developed without the fall? How would man have incorporated his own development into the garden? How would he have built? How would he have developed? So it's in that mindset that we are approaching it. And in my previous presentation, I said we had key pillars: oneness with nature. So even as we are developing and building, we are trying to see how we can still balance that. So we are saying that we are going to create a lot of space for nature to play its part. And we are also going to, make it more, quote and unquote, for a lack of a better word, more exclusive. It's not just for everybody. It's for the people the Lord has called to be here. So it would need that approach as we develop. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the main auditorium. We have our event center. So we have also, in terms of making it exclusive, we've been able to manage the flow of people. If you are saying there's a place of rest, that means that is a private area. When we are zoning, we zone private to semi-private and to public. Public is where you allow everyone to come in and to use your services. Semi-private is where there's a bit of restriction from the public space into your area. And when you have a private space, that means it is restricted and regulated to a certain extent. It's not everybody who can gain access to that point. So the main entrance has been put right here. This is where we are presently. So the entrance is not too far from us. The entrance into this space is here, and it's a dual carriage lane. Once we have an activity that is bringing in a lot of people, it becomes a one-way access for people to come in and go down the road and go out of the camp right here. So that is also to restrict access from people to access other facilities that we have within the camp. So people come in, this is the entrance is from the side here, because we have a lot of our public space coming around here. That is why it's at the entrance. So people can come in and go out. You have the youth auditorium. You have 21 is the admin block. So when people are coming to find information about the space, make reservation, make inquiries, they don't necessarily need to get into the camp, because the camp is not just an open space people can come into. It has to be regulated. So immediately you come, get your information, you are able to go out. You have the youth auditorium, you have the dining area. So this space can also be, because we also believe that to some certain part, we can also open up the camp for external use. So if they have a small event, they can have that within this space and go out. So you have your youth auditorium, which is here, which we believe has a capacity between 700 people. For 700 people, then they can have their own dining area that can serve the admin block and also the youth auditorium. They have their parking, and right beside here we have the bus parks. So things like BRT, to be able to move a lot of people into the camp and outside of the camp, is directly there at the entrance. So they can come in, park them here. They go either into the main auditorium, the youth auditorium, and they are taken out of the building. You can see that that access is just within this place and restricted from the residential area. In front of the main auditorium too, you have your parking around here. They come in, they park, they drive, they go back, they take their roundabout, and they come out again here. So we are trying to control access as much as possible and able to funnel the traffic out of this space. What we have been able to do is, because we are looking at the school and we are trying to see how we can manage, the use of that space. It can be for internal use, it could be for external use, but whatever the plan is, we have positioned it in a way that it can always accommodate whatever use we have for it in the future. We have a road at the end of us pointing to the back. So this is the road that we have here. And we have a school at this point, so that the school can be accessed from the road on the outside and not necessarily coming in from the main entrance. So you have a school, you have a library, you have a bookshop, you have it all here. And for schools, you always have recreational activities. You have your football, you have your basketball, you have your multi-purpose court. And this can serve as a dual space, both for the camp and for the school. Because most of the time, when the school is in operation, probably from 7 o'clock to about 4 o'clock, the people within the camp would not be using this same service. So this helps us to manage space and to be able to provide recreational activities for the school and for the camp. And it also helps attract people for the school because of the facilities that is made available. So in terms of access, in terms of facility, in terms of parking, all of that has been planned for properly within this zone. So moving here, this is where we have the wellness zone. So the wellness zone, with the way the Lord is leading us, it could also be for internal use and external use. That is also why it is along the exit. So people can actually come in at this point, use the wellness center, and also exit at that point. We are controlling access. We are controlling how people come into our space. So this is the wellness zone. We have the buildings there, and we created a lot of green space. Green space in the sense that, yes, nature also heals. And with the teaching that we had with Uncle Isaac, he made mention of some plants that have some energy, that have some vibration, that can be used for healing. And we believe that within that area, we are going to populate all of those plants. As Abba Father leads us, we are going to populate that area with a lot of greens as he directs us. And, what we believe that, this place, taking a look at it at Eden, we are saying that this would also be a place of restoration. And when we say restoration, even to the journey, most of the teachings is centered on restoration, your spirit, your soul, your body. But I also believe that there's also restoration of nature too, even to the seeds, to the plants, to the trees. Because these days, we have the GMO seeds. And when you plant them, they start taking over the crop, they start taking over everything that we have here. We believe that as we go according to how our Father leads us, if we plant here and we take it out, it will be the one to be able to even populate and dominate, even to the seeds and to the plants and to the trees that are planted here. I think they also have the mandate to dominate and to take over. So most of even the organic seeds or the planting, what I see would be taken out to even help in healing and dominating even other farms or other areas that it is taken to. Just the way the GMO seed is taking over, we believe that the seeds taken from here too can go and take over because it's carrying the energy, the vibration, and the frequency because of the presence of Abba Father here. So we take this space as very, very important. And it's not just within this wellness area. Everywhere that we are going to plant a tree, a seed, or a plant is according to how he leads us. And we take it from there. So that's the wellness zone, and it is taken out. What we have been able to further do to be able to manage services and control movement is we have created buffer zones, green areas, because around this zone, you have a lot of cars moving around there. And in preserving and in preserving nature, we need to reduce pollution, air pollution, noise pollution. Because when you come in here, the air should be different. It should be a quiet place. So we have introduced like a buffer zone, and what the buffer is trees. What trees do for you is they help in refreshing and replenishing the air. They also help in trapping noise and also reducing visibility of things that you do not want to see. So we have a green zone across here to be able to manage the amount of cars that will be coming here. Even in discussion, we are even saying that we'll probably be having charging zones for electric vehicles. So we are looking at such things just to reduce the pollution that we would be having here. In addition to that, we've also put buildings in between that can service both the auditorium and the residential area. Just the way we were able to position the recreational area with the school and in the camp to serve a dual purpose, we've also done that within this area to be able to serve the main auditorium, to serve the event center, and to serve the residential zone. And where people are, you always need to have services. Yes, services in terms of your light, your power, running the place. You also need things like your supermarket, your grocery store. You also need your dining area. And for your dining area, we have our dining area here, and we have our grocery store here. So this can serve the event center. When you're having events, you have food, you have item 7. So we have the grocery store and the dining area to be able to serve here. And for the people here within the residential zone, you have the hostel, you have the leadership court. They can always use the dining area. They can also use the supermarket and the grocery stores that will be put here. You also have an amphitheater, an open space where people can congregate and discuss and meet together. People can meet and congregate, in nature, not necessarily under or within a building, but they can congregate even in open air at the amphitheater here. Then you have your public toilets along for this building here. Coming down, you have your facility buildings. So you have your powerhouse, you have your facility managers, people running and ensuring that the camp is running well and smooth. And so that is where we have the facilities, everything to ensure that the camp is running properly. We also have it close to the residential area because that is where we believe you have more of the people staying in camp. So from morning, afternoon, evening, you have a lot of people here. So you need the service close to them. This is where we demand more power and light constantly. So that's why it's positioned there to be able to give them that quality service. So all I have explained, this is an axonometric view of the area. All this that is circled in red here are the buildings that are existing. So this circle here, where my pointer is where we have the existing hostel. This is where we are, the youth auditorium. This is where we have the bungalow, that is place. And and this is where we have the dining hall. So you can see this is the entrance, free flow of traffic all the way down and exit at that point. If they are accessing and they are parking here, coming out and driving out. So at the residential area, I didn't mention, there's also a gate along that point there. So that people who are coming to bring in diesel, look at electrical issues, they also have their entry point at this place here, so that they can come, do their work quietly and go out. They will not come and disrupt whatever activities that we're having in the camp. So we have that here for them to exit. Also for the people in the residential area, if there's a lot of traffic or distortion around here, they can easily take this exit out because we have our leadership court here. So they can easily take this exit out without having to go through the stress of whatever activity is happening in the camp. One of the ways we have also looked at the design, even within this camp here, is to be able to look at a grounding lane. We see that with the teachings that we have been having, we've been talking about grounding, and that is connection with nature, walking on the grass, walking on the earth. And the way man has built now is either you have interlocking or you have concrete paved along your walkway. But what we are trying to do is that there should be a natural ground that we walk on. So you can see this purple line that we have here. Before we intended it to be a bicycle lane, but we believe that it can serve as a grounding lane. So that when people come into this space, they'll begin to wonder and ask, why are we doing this a certain way? It's because we are trying to see how there can be a union between nature and man. So we can have bicycle both on the lane, that is the natural earth, and people also walking and also doing their grounding. We don't want a situation where we have put quota, we've put interlocking, we've put concrete, and there's no connection with the natural earth anymore, because we see that even from the grass to the natural earth, there's a difference in the frequency, the energy, and the vibration that gives. So you can see that as we go on, we continue to evolve, we continue to develop as the Lord grants us direction and more wisdom on how to do things. Yes, so again, here, this camp is a 30-acre camp, 30.3 acres. And if I'm to break that down, that's 190 plots. 190 plots of 640 square meter. So your standard 18 by 36 meters plot, you can place 30 plots within the camp. Just to tell you the size of the camp. Because when you walk around, you might think the camp is small, but it is 30 acres. And out of that 30 acres, from what we have designed, 35% is for green area. Even with the car parks, with the buildings, with everything, 35% is for the green. And from our discussion with the leadership, that 35% is probably going to increase to a 50%. So you can see a balance between nature and our own development. Because we want to introduce more green, we want to make it more exclusive, and we are trying to balance that up. So this is just a layout showing you the green area and the places where we can plant trees along the building. For each of the different zones, we have a different shape or type of plant. So depending on how the Lord leads us, we will know what plant to put in specific areas. If there's a plant that is going to draw wisdom and ideas, we know definitely we'll plant it around the school or the leadership area. As I mentioned before, for the wellness area, if there are plants or trees that help in healing people, we know where to plant that. And if there are plants that will help in giving you rest, whatever it is, we have made the plan open for his direction and for his guidance. So from here, we have about 500 trees, but I know by the time we get into the nitty-gritty of it, we might be able to double that. So 35% for green areas. So this just shows the car park. Yes, in all of this, even as we are planning, functionality is very important. One of the challenges most buildings have is access. So even for residential and even for most critical areas in hospital, when it came to when I was doing a study on hospitals and they were talking about access, even for moving patients from point A to B, if it is wheelchair, if it is elevator, they said the biggest problem even hospitals have is car parking. So we need to ensure that even though we are doing this development, we need to have a balance to ensure that all the services needed are provided for. And car parking is a big issue, not even just for our comfort. We are also taking Ogun State planning laws into consideration. We don't want a situation where we are creating something and we are having issues with government, or we are even having issues with stakeholders around us. We are also taking into consideration all of those things as we develop. So those are the number of cars those are the cars we have within the residential area, within the main auditorium, and within the school, admin, and the youth auditorium. You can see the wellness zone doesn't have any car park at all. It's supposed to just be a green area. So this is like a blow-up to show in detail of the plans. This is the main auditorium. You can see around it we have a lot of green and we have a lot of walkways. As we develop, we might just even leave this as natural earth and grass and trees around it. Then the car park, we might have to put interlocking there to ensure that it's sustainable and free movement of cars. But in and around it, we believe that Abba Father would direct us on how to go about it. So this is the main auditorium, event center, dining, event center, dining hall, grocery shopping, amphitheater, public toilet. Then you have your facility, you have your wellness zone. So this is just a blow up of that space. This is the residential zone. This cluster here is for the hostel. This cluster here is for the leadership court. We have discussed and we are going to see how we can green this area more and increase the green area around here. So this is the residential zone, the place of rest. So from the layout, this is what we envision it to be. This is like a schematic. The final details will still come out as we progress, but this is where we are today. The red, this is the residential area. This is where we have the bungalow. This is Daddy's place. You can see along the area, you can see a lot of green, you can see a lot of plants, and you can even see a lot of street furniture around it. Street furniture meaning that you have a lot of benches so that it is convenient for people to remain in nature and to sit down around nature. So this is an image of what it would turn out to be. This is another image. This is where we are supposed to have the leadership court, just behind the bungalow there. So we want to ensure that it is green. So this is where we have the bungalow. This is where we have the terraces, the terraces for the leadership. You have different types from bungalows to duplexes around that area. But we just ensure that there's a lot of green and trees around there. So again, this is more images of what the place would look like. Yeah. So this is the other side of the residential area. This is the hostel. And you can see this lane where you have the person in a bicycle. This is probably going to end up being the grounding lane where people can walk and connect with the earth, with a lot of green around it, even as you go along. So this is what the hostel area would be like, even within the buildings there. introducing a lot of green around the space. Same thing here, same thing here. So car parks, entrance into the hostel area. Same hostel area. And this is, this area is where you have the school, the youth admin, and the recreational activities. And this is what it's supposed to look like. So you have your green area, you have your 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 10-a-side football pitch, you have your multi-purpose court, you have your basketball, because also to make the camp interesting, you need to have such facilities, and also to exercise and keep the body in shape. So you also have you also have recreational activities like chess, draft, other games, just to help people relax and also to bond within the space. So then this is just to show access navigation, both vehicular and pedestrian access, the roads, the access, the green areas along the space. So we are trying to ensure we have a lot of green within the space. So this is what it looks like. You have your zebra crossing, you have your walkways, you have your grounding lanes, which is the bicycle lane that is here. You have your median too, where we can also plant shrubs, hedges along the road. So these are just more images of what the vehicular access and pedestrian access would be like within the camp. I think there's a video that we would like to play just to make you see what it will be like moving around the camp. Okay. So this is a drive into the residential area. This left-hand side, this is Daddy's bungalow. This is moving into the space. Here you have apartment buildings. Here we have the bungalows for the leadership court. This is where we have the duplex terraces for the leadership. You can see the navigation. You can see the green. You can see the place is open. We don't have fences. We just have an open space for people to walk around. And even the setbacks, we have a lot of green area for people to come out and be in harmony or be in nature. So coming out again from that leadership zone, you can see to this other side, green areas along on the left and on the right-hand side. And that is a video showing the leadership area along the spa. Yeah. So sit out along the area, street furniture, benches, relaxation zones. This would be a grounding lane where people can walk and connect with the earth. And you can see services coming along that end and going out. So this is where the services will come from. You can see that truck is showing a representation of where services would come in from. So that's a video just showing what the camp will look like when the residential area is completed. Okay, so the other part is that, yes, we have seen the layout, we have seen the buildings. As I mentioned earlier, how do you see yourself in this? What part can I play? What role can I play? You can see that what we plan to do is massive, and it will require everyone to play their part to get us to where we plan to be. So we are going into the part of execution, implementation. How do we get to this end goal? And it is in two parts. We have the part of the development, where we are going to develop, we are going to build the schools, the main auditorium, the wellness center, the roads, the lights, the power. We have the development part, but we also have the camp part, the running of the camp, the administration of the camp, the operation of the camp. What we are trying to do is to also improve the experience and the operations of the camp. And that requires planning. That requires giving reports and doing all the necessary things, getting all the data to improve the experience. So we talk with that, we need to have a direction. We need to have a structure, a system that is devoid of, personalities of people, but a system that irrespective of the person who is there, things continue to grow because we see what is happening here beyond us. So we need to create something that would, outlast us and will continue to grow. So there's a governance structure that we are looking at, and we've been able to look at, what makes up the running of the camp, and we've been able to create departments for that. Sorry. Okay, so this governance structure, what it helps us to do is to clarify roles and decision making. It helps to separate strategy from operations. It ensures accountability across departments. It helps to institutionalize planning timeliness, prevent operational breakdowns, and establish documentation and audit trails. So institutionalize planning so that, irrespective of what is happening, planning is going and we are able to run and improve operational excellence even during the camp. So that is what the structure would help us to do. And from there, the February camp is not just merely an event, it's an annual program requiring disciplined governance. And if there's disciplined governance, it's going to improve what we are doing here. And we have created different departments where we will need people to head those departments and ensure that those departments are functional. So what are the things that will make up the departments? The department shall have a designated head. That means somebody to run the department. And the person running the department doesn't necessarily mean that he's the one doing the day-to-day activities. He's building his own team of people to be able to run. And, he has a scope of work, defined deliverables, budget, reporting, and all of that. So we have the different departments. We have the kitchen department. Food is very important. We have the welfare department. We have health and safety. We have facility management. We have finance department, communication department, sanitation department, security departments, the sports and recreation department, commercial activities, anything that is going to be generating money within the camp falls under commercial activities. Then we also have the place of the camp manager to run and ensure that, the camp is running properly. So within this department, I believe that we can see where we can fit in, where we can play our part, and where we can give our time and energy to these things. And so the development arm is where we have the team of consultants. And so we have people from the architects. In the last meeting, someone indicated that they were a quantity surveyor. So we want to see if we have more professionals amongst us. So we are looking for structural engineer, we are looking for mechanical engineer, we are looking for electrical engineer, for surveyors, for building, people who studied building technology. We are looking for those categories of people so that for the development arm, we can have people amongst us. And the reason why we need people amongst us, at least they have the same understanding, we have the same vision, we have the same goal, and would be readily available to journey with us in the development of this camp. So I think there would be a link that will be sent to the group so that whatever department you want to go into or you want to come into the development side, for the camp, you can make your request known there, and you can sign up there so that you can join and be part of it. So I believe that we all have what it takes to be able to make our own contribution to fulfill this goal or this dream for the camp. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Brother. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma. We actually appreciate your patience. We believe that this is very important for us to do at this time. And because we also believe that the reflection will help us to see better what was presented on Sunday that most of us did not see. So, mine is to also call us back to what is actually necessary. Brotobia told us that we have different departments. What we want to do is to put up a link on the Rising Community as well as leadership where everyone can indicate where they want to participate in. We have the kitchen, we have the welfare, we have the IT, facilities management, and everything. So please just indicate this is where I believe I can work. Many people met with us after the presentation on Sunday and said they want to participate. So we will leave that link on the Rising platform for you to join anyone that you believe you want to see or you believe you can work well with. And then the second one also is to say that with all that has been shared with us, if we go back to the design, the slide that has the entire structure, we will see that even without all the buildings in place right now, what we have on ground is enough to what will I call it now, to attract unnecessary attentions. So what am I talking about? We want to actually say that we've been mentioning it, we mounted it, we've mentioned it at the last leadership meeting because it's meeting for leaders anyway. So I believe that like about 80% of us on this call, here today, are part of the Chat with Shepherd. And we mentioned the issue of security. And we said there are certain things we are putting in place concerning security, and that is one area that we want to focus on. One key project for us for this year is to ensure that we secure this project. And part of securing it is the first thing, which is the first line of defense, is the perimeter fence. I want to thank our sister and mother, Sister Oluwa Makinde, for the exercise we did together this morning, so that she volunteered that she will be able to give us a bit of quantity. And we went around this morning together to go and see all the perimeter of the land. And we are expecting her to give us that so that we can then come back to leadership and say, this is how much it's going to take for us to build up the fence line. If you don't have the fence line in place, or even if we put up all the structures, we're still in jeopardy. So that is one basic major project that we believe we want to do this year. And then aside from the issue of the perimeter fencing also, we also believe not that we believe, we've already put in place a dedicated supervisory team for the security architecture on ground right now. And that we believe also will help us to be able to monitor the activities of the people on ground. Okay, to monitor the people on ground, and then to also be able to represent us as a general people. So that supervisory team has been put in place in the last 3 days. And then to also train the personnel, to also the use of technology also will be in place. And then, but most importantly, just like the issue of the perimeter fencing, we want to have what we call a dedicated funding pause for security in the camp. It shouldn't just be like an adversary thing. It should be deliberate that we need to have a dedicated fund for security that will run through the year, 12 months, from March to February, that will come later. So those are the two things that will be coming back to showcase to the leadership. As I said before, please, we'll put a link on the page to show, just let us know where you fit in Doctor definitely knows that they will fit in into the area of health and safety. So, Doctor, you're on board. So, and then the last one I want to talk about is the issue of completing the hostel. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that had helped, that has supported, that had extended their support for the completion of the hostel. They've indicated interest. Many has given. And if you go to the third floor, just as a men only right now, we've put all the doors, we've done the ceiling, but what is important right now is to do the windows, as well as to do the outside, the exterior, and then the other we need interior. Why? So that is also something that we want to pursue this 2026. So whenever we are coming to you, please give us your listening here. And then finally, the public relations person has said they are the best. The architect said they are the first, but I'm sure none of us will be here without eating. So on behalf of the agrarian community, on behalf of the agrarian community and those that invested in 2023, yes. Okay, yeah, let me, because that's where everybody knew. So we are also presenting again, just as we did last year, that before we leave tomorrow, please let's meet with Sheung or Sister Sharon for our batch of foodstuff for this year. Those that did not collect last year, yours also is being presented to you. So please just reach out to her. We'll be able to collect your foodstuff. So I'm excited. I don't know if you are. So we are rounding up on a food note, and I don't want to waste or take much of your time anymore. So thank you very much. You want to take me away?
Thank you for the presentation. What the Father has started, he will perfect in the name of Yeshua. So we come to the end of today's session. Thank you for your time. We look forward to being here tomorrow by 11. The scripture said the end of a matter is better than the beginning. Good night and have a blessed rest. We can go for our dinner. Thank you.